to The Car Guy with your host, Klaus Kindor. Currently, Klaus owns Classic Car Holdings, LLC here in Spokane, a boutique dealer specializing in vintage, collectible, and contemporary automobiles. The Car Guy is sponsored in part by European Auto House and Can-Am Body Shop. Here's Klaus.
Well, welcome to The Car Guy. I'm not the car guy, okay? I know very little about cars. I'm Kent Adams, and this is Klaus Kindor.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
And you are.
I'm the car guy.
The car guy. You know.
You say I'm the car guy.
Well, you are the car guy.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
That's what it says here in the script, right?
There we go.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Terrific.
I'm doing all right. I'm waiting for some more sun to come back. We had a few days of it, but here we go. When we turn back a car to the dealer because we're going to buy a new one or lease or whatever it might be, we have a used car, whether it be 1 year, previously
enjoyed.
Please, okay, all right. Oh, you car people, just all have your terms, don't you? Yeah, okay. All right, so I've got my car, and I'm ready to turn it in, and I've looked at the Kelley Blue Book, and I've looked at everything else, talked with all of my neighbors and relatives who know a whole lot, of course, because they've sold and bought cars over the years.
Right.
And my car, which I bought for $20,000  4 years ago, I know is worth $15,000 now because I've only had it for a few years.
Of course it is.
Right, right.
Of course.
So the question is, what is my car or your car really worth?
Really worth.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful question. It really is. And then sadly, it's probably not worth what you think.
Okay.
Probably not. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why. And then again, there may be situations where it may be worth even a little bit more than you thought.
What is the first thing we should do?
Clean the bloody thing.
Oh.
Clean the bloody thing.
And that's inside and out.
Yeah, it's inside and out.
And trunk.
If you know you're going to trade in your car.
Yeah.
My goodness, clean the car up.
Yeah.
Because you're
Doesn't everybody do that?
No, you'd be surprised.
Really?
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Clean the car, vacuum the car, get it cleaned up. The better it looks, the better the appraisal most likely is going to come back. Yeah. And it, spending a couple of $100 getting the car cleaned up can be worth a considerable amount when it comes to trade-in.
Okay.
A used car manager or a new car manager is going to go out and look at your automobile, and the first thing they're going to look at is the condition of the car. So
yeah, how much time are they going to have to spend,
exactly.
And how much money?
Right. So like real estate, where location, with automobiles, it's condition.
Ah, okay.
We want to make the car presentable.
Yeah.
If I go out there and look at an automobile and it's not clean, it's not been waxed, and there's stuff all over the place inside, and there's stains.
You've been looking at my car this morning, haven't you?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
But the first thing I'm going to question as a sales manager or a used car manager is what else has not been done to the car?
Yeah.
Has it not been taken care of? And of course, that's going to play in what I believe the car might have in relationship to value.
Yeah.
Right. If it smells like smoke.
Yeah. It probably was smoke.
I'm an ex-smoker. I smoked for 30 years, and I gave it up 10 years ago, and if somebody walks by me, I still love the smell of a cigarette, all right? I still do. But if I get in the car and it stinks like cigarettes, not so much.
And you know it's going to stay in the car.
It is, and that you cannot remove it. You cannot remove it. And that car almost immediately becomes an automobile that the dealer is going to wholesale.
Okay.
Simply because there's a lot of people that find cigarette smoke offensive.
Okay. And he doesn't want it on his or her lot.
He doesn't. What he's going to feel is that I'm not going to be able to sell it. That's one of the big things. Cigarette smell is a big deal. High mileage cars are a big deal.
Okay.
We have to remember that when a used car manager looks at an automobile, he's looking at what he can get back out of the car.
Okay.
And that's going to that'll happen within 60 days. Today's dealerships, when they take a car in trade, they're looking at moving that car or turning that car in less than 60 days.
Okay.
And if they can't, the car's generally going to go to auction.
Okay.
But if there are problems with the car, if the car is not nice, if it's not been taken care of, if it smells like cigarette smoke, or if it needs if it has a lot of miles and requires a lot of work, that car almost immediately becomes a wholesale piece.
Okay. Which means less for trade-in?
Which means less for trade-in,
yes.
Which means your car has less value. Okay. They're not going to keep the car. And it's not that it's not a reasonably good car.
Right.
But
it's just not worth it.
Exactly. They know that they're not going to be able to take the car in, recondition the car, do whatever service work
and
is
sell
required,
it next weekend.
And sell it.
Yeah.
They know that this car is immediately going to go to auction.
So what is the reasonable range for that someone can use, let's say, for 3 years or 5 years? Is it 12 to 15,000 a year, a reasonable mileage? What?
That's about the national average is about 12 to 15,000 miles a year.
So if I'm turning something in after 3 years with 36,000, that's probably, I'm not going to be downgraded.
No, that's going to be a good trade. If it's a nice, clean trade and it's been taken care of, then that trade-in can be worth a lot of money. The dealers will pay more at auction, at wholesale auctions, for really, really nice cars that they can then offer a warranty on, as an example. And as cars get more and more mileage on them, you know, there's now the opportunity to now sell something like a warranty or an extended warranty on a pre-owned car. Once the car has so many miles on it, they can no longer do that. So again, it immediately becomes a wholesale piece.
Okay. What if I have had a car for 3 years and it has 50,000?
Not necessarily a bad thing.
Okay.
If it's in good condition.
But that's kind of at the top. So everything else better be sharp.
And again, condition is paramount. It's absolutely paramount.
Okay. Now, I hear a lot about bad history reports. What are those?
Well, there are history reports out there, you know, Carfax or AutoCheck, and for the most part...
Explain how that happens. I don't understand that.
Well, what happens basically is your car, when it's new, is...
Put in a system.
Almost everything, I'm going to rephrase that. A lot of things that happen to the car are recorded. In other words, when the car gets serviced, Carfax or AutoCheck knows about it. If the car's unfortunately been involved in an accident, CarCheck or AutoCheck, or Carfax or AutoCheck knows about it. And these reports come back.
So even from independent dealers or repair shops, and
sometimes,
you know, I'm thinking of the guys that change the oil and you buy tires from. They still do that as well.
Sometimes, not necessarily. And I would say most of the time that's not the case. However,
so if it's an major engine problem, or
it may not show up.
Really?
No. Accidents may not even show up if they weren't reported. If there wasn't a police report, or an accident report, or an insurance claim, and the car was repaired without knowledge of insurance or police, it won't show up on the Carfax. It won't necessarily show up on the Carfax. So you need to be careful there. You know, has the car been damaged?
Yes.
Has it been repaired and not necessarily reported to an agency? So that happens as well. So you really do need to be careful about what you're looking at, about what you're buying. And if you're not certain, then have somebody that knows a little bit about cars take a look at it.
Now, I found it interesting when you were talking about the kind of extended warranty. Are these those warranties that you often see used car lots that come in and buy a car and you have a warranty that goes with it?
Not necessarily. I mean, these extended warranties that you would then buy. And in order but the car has to qualify for that type of warranty. In other words, the mileage has to be right. It has to perhaps not have any accidents or previous accidents. Are they effective? Yes, they can be. They can be.
So you, as a car buyer at a used car lot, can go buy this warranty, this additional insurance.
You may be able to offer it. As a used car dealer or a new car dealer that sells used cars, you may be able to offer it. Once a car gets past a certain point, however, you can no longer do that. And again, when you're looking at if I'm looking at a trade-in on a car and I know that it's exceeded the mileage where I can offer a warranty on the automobile, then of course the car goes immediately to auction. It's worth what it's worth. You know, and what a lot of people I think don't understand is that they arm themselves well. They'll look at Kelley Blue Book, they'll look at NADA, they'll look at Edmunds, and they'll say, well, this is worth this and this and this and this according to them. Unfortunately, what normally happens is a sales manager or a used car manager, the first thing they're going to do, number one, is pull up a history report. If it has a bad history report, it's almost instantly a wholesale car. And of course that affects the value. And unfortunately, to the negative. Right? It's not a car they're going to keep. And here's the challenge. The biggest challenge that I think new car dealers have today is they're really not making any money on the new car. They're selling cars basically for invoice. So the only hope that they have is to maybe make a little bit of money back on the trade-in.
Really?
True.
Wow.
It's true.
That surprises me. But that's where the market is.
That's where the
today.
market
It wasn't
is.
that way, 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago?
And these managers, they're not looking at Kelley Blue Book or NADA necessarily. They're looking at something called Manheim Market Report. And Manheim is the largest wholesale auction house in the United States.
Okay.
They look at those reports. What is this car typically selling for at auction?
Okay.
If I were to go look at your year, make, and model car
Yeah.
in this condition with this many miles,
Right.
what could we normally expect that car to bring at auction?
Right.
And that really is the value of your automobile.
Okay.
Now, the other thing they have to do is that dealers nowadays are looking at keeping a car a maximum of about 60 days. If the car's not sold in 60 days, the car immediately goes to auction. So when a used car manager looks at your trade-in, he's looking at the condition of the trade, he's looking at the mileage of the trade, he's
Right.
pulled up a condition report, and then he has to determine, if I keep this thing 60 days, can I at least get my money out of it
Yeah.
wholesale auction,
Right.
We're not making any money on the new car, so we got to be careful that we don't
can't
lose money on the
money.
trade.
Yes.
Right,
Okay.
and that's where it becomes a little difficult.
Well, I want to take a break. I'd like to come back and talk about this wholesale thing, because I'm not sure I understand it. Okay,
Right.
And then we'll also talk about other ways of evaluating your car, because I think most of us amateurs out there keep thinking of Kelley Blue Book and all of that,
And they're good references.
and we have these great expectations that my car is worth $12,000.
Right.
But that's not really the true market value.
Maybe
So-
not.
No.
Maybe not.
We have a couple great sponsors, and one of them is
We do. We've got European Auto House.
Yes.
Greg and his guys up at European Auto House, they do terrific work. And again,
Yeah.
if you're driving something German, take it to Greg. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And then we've got, of course, the great people at Can-Am Auto Body. They're awesome.
Well, great. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Can-Am Body Shop has been a family-owned business for 50 years, and we would like to invite you to try our local automotive body repair services. We offer a variety of services, including full-service collision repair, frame and unibody repair, air condition services, and fiberglass repair. We have a certified spray booth. We're on a gold level with Spokane Clean Air, and we are willing to work with all insurances. And you'll always get a written lifetime warranty with any of our services. Give us a call at 509-534-3044 or visit our shop at 7706 East Boone Lane. That's 7706 East Boone Lane.
Welcome back to The Car Guy. Klaus is the car guy. I'm just
Thanks, Ken.
a lousy amateur.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I wanted to ask a question, because I've never quite understood when you've said this, and I've heard it from others, the wholesale issue, okay? So I bring a car in, and it's determined that it's really not going to be sellable out there, okay? So it's going to go to the wholesale market. I'm given, for the sake of argument, keep it round numbers, $1,000 for the trade-in, okay? What then happens? Explain that process. What is the dealer hoping to get from putting it in wholesale?
Well, the dealer's not looking to do necessarily put it in wholesale. The dealer's going to, he's going to evaluate your automobile.
Okay.
He's going to look at the condition of your car,
Yeah.
condition.
Right.
He's going to look at the miles of the car, and he's going to pull up something called Mannheim.
Okay.
Now, you've done your research, and
Right.
you've been to NADA, and you've been to Kelley Blue Book, and I'll pull a couple of those up. And what I did is I pulled up a 2014 Chevrolet Tahoe,
Okay.
4x4, which is pretty popular up here.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And this happens to be the information that you would find on NADA as an example. And
Okay.
NADA says, if this car happens to, I plugged in the information with 113,000 miles. The car's in average condition.
Okay.
And NADA says the car should be worth somewhere around 19.6
Okay.
in relationship to trade.
Okay.
Right. Now, if I pull up Kelley Blue Book, which makes it a little bit more interesting. Let's see if I can do that. Remember, I'm technically challenged. Kelley Blue Book gives you even more different information. They're telling you that your car should be worth, oh, and now I've lost it. How nice.
We may have to have Vinny come out
I may have
from
to.
behind the curtain.
I may have to. Anyway, Kelley Blue Book brings up approximately a $16,000 to $18,000 value.
Okay.
So you've got a $4,000 spread just between two different reporting agencies.
Okay.
But what's going to really happen is that the sales manager is going to pull up what's called a Mannheim Market Report.
Okay.
And these are the wholesale numbers. And we're looking at a 2014 Chevrolet Tahoe 4x4 with approximately 113,000 miles on it. It's in fair condition. Car's silver. And we could expect, as an example, the car to be valued at approximately 17.5.
Okay.
That's what these cars with this mileage, this age, and this condition have typically been selling for.
Okay.
At auction.
Okay.
Those,
to a dealer or to somebody?
To a dealer.
Okay.
You have to be a dealer to buy these wholesale cars.
Okay.
So if I were a dealer looking for a 100,000-mile 14 Tahoe, I would look at spending approximately 17.5 to buy that car. They also suggest that the retail value of that automobile is somewhere around 22 grand.
Ah, okay. But you had can you go back up?
Yeah.
Okay. You had a 20,000. What's the 20,000 base up there?
That's on a car that is lesser mileage.
Okay.
And probably a little bit better condition.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right?
So that's not your car.
Exactly.
That's kind of an example car.
Right. But now, as a used car manager or as a new car manager appraising your automobile, what kind of condition is it in? Can I turn it in 60 days?
Yes. And
can I turn it and hopefully realize at least 17.5?
Okay.
And that really becomes the value of your trade-in.
Okay.
Now, if you've got a really nice low mileage automobile that's really, really nice.
Okay.
Some dealers will pay over Manheim Market Report
because of the low mileage.
Because of the low mileage. Now, again, they can. It's a really clean car. They can offer a warranty on the automobile, and the car becomes a little bit more valuable to the dealer. But most of the time, unfortunately, when you walk in well armed, right, you've got your NADA report, you've got your hold on, let me bring this up here. Oops.
Yeah, can you scroll it up?
You've got your NADA report, and you're saying, no, my car's worth 19 grand or 19.6.
Okay.
And the salesman says, no, I'm sorry, but our boss says it's worth 17.5. What unfortunately doesn't happen is it's never explained as to why it may only be worth 17.5, right? Because this is the real number.
Okay, I was going to say, why?
This is the real number.
Okay.
I'm looking at what these cars have sold for historically.
Okay. So go back to the other one where you had the 17,550, I think it was, and can you scroll down?
Yeah,
17,550.
Yeah. Now, what this actually shows you. Whoops, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Too many choices here.
Exactly. I can also look again. You have to be a dealer to access this information. Unfortunately, this is not available to the public.
Right.
But here's all the recent cars that have sold.
Okay.
There's the
with the odometer readings,
right?
And
the odometer
readings,
what they actually sold for.
Okay.
So we look at a car that's similar with 103,000 miles, or a car that has 140,000 miles.
Okay. Okay.
And we see that the condition reports are done 1 to 5, 1 being poor, 5 being best. So I'm looking at an average condition report with 103,000 miles, and the car sold for 18.3.
Okay.
At auction.
Okay.
Right. So that's a real number that I can place on the automobile. It's not an estimate.
Okay.
These are real numbers that dealers paid for these cars.
Okay, so you're going to give me 17,550, okay, as a trade-in value.
Maybe. Does the car have a bad Carfax or a bad history report?
Okay,
now it's worth less.
Okay.
Because remember, when these dealers go to the auctions to buy these cars, the very first thing they're going to do is pull up a history report.
Yes.
And if it's got a bad history report, they don't want it either.
Okay.
Because they're going to take it to the lot, and the customer is going to come in. I'd like to see a history report on the car.
Okay, so you're giving me 17,550 because everything else is equal and good. What are you going to sell it for?
As much as I can.
Yeah.
Right?
But what would be the standard
reality
range?
of it is Manheim also offers that to me. They think the car will probably be worth somewhere around 22 grand.
Okay.
Right? Now, keep in mind that I'm going to take this car for 17.5.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it through the service department.
Right.
I'm going to doll it up. I'm going to clean it, maybe put tires on it.
Right.
Now I'm in this thing almost 19 grand.
Okay.
18.5, 19 grand, right around there, maybe just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Can I realize my 22,000? Because nobody wants to pay me retail for it, right?
No, of course not. We want a deal. In fact, we'd like you to lose money for us to make money. Right?
So now it becomes, and again, if you're trading in the car, they've made virtually nothing or very, very little on the new car.
Okay.
And now you can see they're also making very, very little.
There isn't much margin there, Klaus.
There really isn't.
No,
there really isn't. People think that dealers are getting rich, and the reality of it is.
So you really hope to sell it for 21 something.
Yeah. So I need to be able to buy it right. And again, more importantly, is if I don't sell this, or if I don't sell the car within 60 days, I need to at least hopefully realize my money at least what I'm in.
$17,550
plus my reconditioning costs.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I need to get out of the car.
And will you do that by selling it wholesale?
No, most likely not. I'll most likely lose money if I have to sell the car in 60 days.
Okay. So this big, boy, the auto dealers are just raking it in isn't true anymore, is it?
No, it really isn't. It's
really,
tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Let me take a wild guess. A lot of it is in the warranty and repair shop and the maintenance of ongoing cars,
Sure.
right? Whether
Sure
they
it
get
is.
reimbursed from the company.
Well, they're
on a
hoping
warranty
they're
or
hoping to
what-
make some money when they sell you the automobile.
Yeah.
You're most likely not going to write a check for 22 grand. You're
Right.
most likely going to finance it, so they're going to make some money on the finance money, right?
Yeah, but not at 2 and 3%.
Right.
Not much.
Right. They're hopefully going to sell you a warranty if they can.
Okay.
And, there's a little bit of money there.
Yeah, but they've paid out a couple $100 for the commission.
Yep.
Yeah.
So again, that margin becomes increasingly small or
So
smaller.
when we talk about this big purchase, the second usually to buying a house, right? You would think that they're going to just go home with great numbers. It's not true.
No, it's not.
Wow, I learned a lot. Yeah.
It's hard. It's a tough business. And if you're selling cars for a living, if that's what you're doing, and you can see there's very, very little margin here,
Yeah.
it's pretty hard to make a living anymore.
Yeah, and you start thinking about every few years they're upgrading their dealership, new buildings, new repair shop, new
Sure.
all
There's
of
new
that.
technology that's come along, and that's something we're going to talk to Greg about in a couple of weeks.
wow.
What's changed technically with these automobiles over the last 10 years? They're becoming exceedingly difficult to work on.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what are the takeaways? What do we want to remember in terms of the trade-in value? There's three.
We got to remember that it's condition.
Okay.
The nicer your car is, the more they're going to offer you for the automobile.
Yeah.
If it's got really high mileage on it, chances are they're going to wholesale it immediately because they can no longer offer a warranty on the automobile.
Okay.
That's really and
Cigarette smell?
Yeah, cigarette smells a
Avoid
problem.
that if you
Yeah,
can.
avoid that if you can.
Okay. And the bad history report.
And the bad
Watch
history
out.
report. Yeah.
Which means stay out of accidents and things like that.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, a smart consumer, if you're going to go look at a car at a dealership and it's a pre-owned car,
Okay.
you're going to want to see that history report.
Okay, and you can ask for it from the
sure.
dealer?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Because they have that info. They've already pulled it.
Most
right?
likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, most likely.
Wow. So much to learn.
There is a lot to learn. And again, is your car necessarily worth what you think?
No. Yeah.
Maybe not. And then again, if you've got a really, really nice, clean trade in, it could actually be worth just a little bit more.
And there's a lesson there. Take care of your car.
Take care of your automobile.
Maintenance, both internally in terms of the engine and brakes and tires and everything else, but also
Absolutely.
keep it clean.
It'll treat
Keep
you
it-
better, and of course, it's worth a little bit more money when you go to trade it
Well,
in.
and you want to drive a nice car too. And you're still driving it until you do trade it in or give it to the teenager because he or she is ready to start driving. Oh Lord, those kind. Yeah, we've all been there.
There's another program.
Yeah, or two or three.
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of folks with that going on right now. My kids and my grandkids are now reaching that age and so forth. I'm glad it's my kids that are dealing with it, not grandpa and grandma very much. So, Klaus, thank you. This
My
is
pleasure,
really,
Kent.
This is really great information. So,
Good. I'm glad you liked it.
yeah. Thanks for watching The Car
Thanks,
Guy.
folks.
See you next time.
Thanks for watching. The Car Guy is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksMedia.com, which is solely responsible for its content. The Car Guy is sponsored in part by European Auto House and Can-Am Body Shop. Ask Klaus a question, recommend a guest, or hear this program again on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SpokaneTalksMedia.com.